I'll start. Nick, just firstly, just coming back from concussion protocol, can you just sort of tell us sort of how you're sort of feeling, how long you've been training back fully, and just what's the sort of thoughts about getting into this week against Argentina?
Yeah, no, I'm all good. Head's all sweet. It was a good chance also to get home for a couple of days, which is always nice. But the normal concussion protocols followed that and had no problems, and trained for pretty much back with the Brums boys. We had about 5 or 6 days in with them, which was good. Good to see those boys again. So pretty keen for that.
It's when you get to test yourself as a forward pack against the Springboks, who consider the best in the world, back-to-back world champions, is that just a sort of nice reminder of you've come this far, but there's still sort of several steps you've got to take to really match with the best in the world?
Yeah. Obviously the world champs and a decent and a great forward pack, and individually there's some great players there, like Evan Etzbeth, if you look across personally, playing in something like that, that's he's one of the great players in the world. So there's always things you try and match with, individually and collective. So obviously we're not where we want to be, but there's definitely goals that we're aiming towards, and ticking little boxes along the way. But we know we've got a bit to work on there.
In terms of those work-ons to sort of rally more, I think they scored 3 tries in that second half just to sort of run away with that game in Perth. I know you weren't there for that, but how much of a focus is really just solidifying that area just to sort of get that all-round performance when you come against a very solid Argentinian pack?
Yeah, obviously we've highlighted that as a key work-on for us. It's fine margins at Test footy, I'd say. So there's little 1%ers that if you don't nail them at that time, you get stung. So we've been putting a bit of effort into that, and looking where we can all get better, poking each other in the chest, and that's pretty much all we can get around from that point of view.
Hey Frosty, slightly a different one. Like obviously you came through a bit of the Crusaders Academy. I'm just curious, do you ever keep in contact with any of those guys or the Sam Whitelocks of the world that you might have spent a bit of time with? Do you ever tap into things that he might have said or still might say to you?
I keep in contact with a lot of the boys who I live with, and a lot of boys in my age group, and there's a fair few coming through from the Canterbury, the Crusaders and the All Blacks environment. So it's always good to play against them in Super Rugby, and then when you get a chance at a test level, that's always great too. So in terms of catching up from a Sam Whitelock point of view, no, nothing there. It'd be quite hard to get secrets across, obviously being Australian in that point of view there. But it's always good to play against those people, and they're good mates of yours, and see them doing well.
What have you discovered in taking on Argentina in recent years, or last year as well, and what's the key to stopping them?
They're very, very emotional side we find. So they ride the crowd pretty well. So we found out the hard way a couple of years ago in San Juan. They did a good number on us. They had a big vocal crowd. So, but it's always fun playing the Argentinians. They bring a lot of passion. It's a fast game, and you play against them, fast and physical. They like to run the ball around. They like to kick. They like to show off a bit of flair. So it's a good game. It's a good spectacle of rugby to watch as well.
And it seems like you're really growing into this international season, like even throughout Super, like you spent a bit of time at 6 on the bench. That kind of started with the test season, but you've very much seemed like you've cemented yourself in that starting 15. How have you kind of felt like your season's gone, and how are you finding life under Joe as well?
Life under Joe's good. He doesn't give much away, which is also a good quality of his. He gives you little bits, but he's quite detailed on what he wants from you. So, he gave me a few areas to work on, and you obviously got to keep chipping away at those. But the season was good. I had a bit of fun at 6. Every lock's kind of dream to go out and play a bit wider. So that was a bit of fun, and time on the bench, time starting, moved around, but. I think it's just been kind of not a building year, but things to work on and to keep striving for. You can't just sit on your laurels there. So that's probably one thing that I've tried to learn and keep going. Is you got to strive to get better, and there's some areas that I had deficiencies in, and I've got to keep working on those.
Nick, you referenced that the 2022 series when you're over here for 2 games, that loss, but that win in the first sort of game you're over here, what did that teach you about just managing the crowd and managing what to sort of expect when you run out in the field on Saturday, just in terms of that emotional side of things that Argentina will bring to this game?
It was great. It was a good experience. It was one of my first times from a bigger kind of crowd, and it was, as I said, it was a good win for us. It was cool though. You know, the stadiums are slightly different. Everything's you know, it's a different perspective over here. So I really enjoyed that. You know, even though they are cheering for the other team, it pumps you up too. It's an atmosphere that you kind of ride off. So. And then obviously the following week it was even better from a crowd and atmosphere point of view. But obviously the result, we didn't put on a good performance that week. So we know, especially from the Argentinians at the recent game, New Zealand. You know, 1 week they're on the most points they've ever scored, or anyone's ever scored in New Zealand. And then the next week again, New Zealand fight back. So there's. You know, you don't know what Argentinian team you're going to get, which is also a cool thing. So you've got to be at your best.
How are you finding the battle for the halfback spot?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good challenge. You know, obviously there's a 3-way tussle between all of us, and Jakey obviously started the year brilliantly. And Whitey played good games as well, you know. So I just really enjoy working with those two fellas. We're all competitive. We all want that 9 jersey, and you know, I just love that how much those boys help me out in areas that I need to work on. You know, so I'm really grateful to have them in this squad to learn off and bounce ideas off as well.